Time for your review on Space Marine 2?
Yep, we've been playing this game for about a week, and I'll be showing gameplay in the corner here, avoiding showing any cutscenes. I'm going to avoid any story spoilers. I've done every mission in the campaign, which you can play solo or with up to 2 friends. I've also played all the operations, and I swear to God, you need to play with friends. Gameplay is pretty simple. With my broken arm, I've needed to play with a controller. From those I've spoken with, it seems the controller option is absolutely required. Now, for the campaign, there's 4 difficulties, I think, and I'll admit, I played on easy mode, and boy howdy am I happy I did. This game is not easy because some of the mechanics are not mentioned at certain points. Melee weapons become your best friend in a lot of cases. There's 5 options: combat knife, chain sword, power fist, power sword, and thunder hammer. Each one has a scale of their melee focus from single target to area of effect. Personally, I find myself preferring the power sword, which has 2 modes, one single target and the other AoE mode. Every weapon has a parry option at default. It can be used to open a slim window to parry melee attacks. Now, here's something the game doesn't tell you. The window is not obvious. Some enemies, if you see a blue, you can instant kill them. Some enemies, you see a blue, you can parry them. Others, you can parry in a window after the blue vanishes. But with that in mind, you can parry nearly any melee attack, so long as there's not an orange circle. Melee weapons can be upgraded, increase damage, sweep, charge, and change the defense. The defense stats are balance, which is the default. There's also fencing, which opens up parry to a larger window, and defense, which can block melee attacks but doesn't parry. Balance does both blocking and parrying. But keep in mind, the orange highlights on enemies means the attacks are unblockable. My problem with this is that attacks might not be anywhere near you, but you should still keep note of it. If you perform a perfect dodge, you'll get a target on the enemy, which means you can punish them by putting a single shot through their skull. I like the bolt pistol myself, but I've not noticed a whole lot of differences between the damage outputs, really. But this game doesn't really utilize numbers very well, so The campaign lets you try most, if not all, the weapons except the power fist, which I've never used yet, and knowing nothing about, really. This includes 3 pistols and the 1.5 tons of rifles and the 3 heavy weapons. Pistols are the bolt pistol, usable by all classes, heavy bolt pistol, and plasma pistol. The bolt pistol is your average shooter. Heavy bolt pistol has more stopping power but lower magazine size. And the plasma pistol doesn't need to be reloaded but can overheat, which is essentially reloading, and can be charged to hit harder. Then we go into rifles, or primary weapons, which there's a lot of options. I'm not going to go into all of them, but I'll give you a general list. Bolt rifle, auto bolt rifle, stalker bolt rifle, bolt carbine, and various others. Their real differences are their triggers and sights. Then there's the meltas, which are okay. They're just shotguns, and they have body penetration, but they're not that great simply because they need to be close range. Then there's sniper rifles. Las Fusil is broken, and I pray they don't fix it. Plasma rifles are another one. They're pretty good, but have a risk. And then there's the Plasma Incinerator. Each one has a bigger boom. Heavy guns are the last category. Heavy bolt gun, Plasma Incinerator, and Multi-Melta. Each one has a different trigger and a different use case. Some more than others. I recommend the bolt gun. Like I said, the campaign gives you a chance to try almost every option, though some only once. There's even a point where you get a Pyre Blaster, and this is probably the worst part of the game, with the worst weapon too. But the low poly rippers are funny looking, and it's only one part of one mission. Now, this campaign has 5 missions, and the campaign is about 8 to 10 hours maybe, even on easy mode. But sprinkled into the main campaign are 5 or 6 operations, depending on how you want to count. Operations are my favorite part. Even on easy mode, minimal risk, do not expect an easy time. The maps are the same every time, and the objectives are kind of the same every time, but enemy spawns are random, and some item placements are changed to with every play of the missions. Missions will often minorly change too. In the first operation, you're tasked with getting Promethium and burning a swarm horde. In the middle part, you'll need to defend generators and such while a crane works. Sometimes you don't need to do any of the 4 generators. Sometimes you'll need to go to all of them. Sometimes you'll go to the back corner to fix the machine. It's never really the same. But if you're trying to play solo, well, good luck. I think they've stealth boosted the AI, but they're still trying to play a pacifist run. They're better than when the game launched fully, but during the pre-launch period, they were unholy shit. But I mentioned classes. 6 different classes with different combos of weapons and options and abilities. The tactical is your standard intercessor, able to use most weapon options. The ability is to scan an area, highlighting enemies in the zone, and allowing allies to deal more damage to them. Assaults are jump intercessors. They get a jump jet, but no primary weapon, but can use the Thunder Hammer. Their ability is to get into the air, slam into the ground, and even utilize it as a dodge or as a high point pistol shot. Vanguard is the Reaver unit and is pretty universal with their weapons as well, but allows you to rip yourself into the target. The PvP mode apparently lets you grapple the walls as well. Bulwark is your Blade Guard veteran, and they have a shield that can block ranged attacks, and can place a banner, then recharges the contempt the game uses. Yes, I'll call it contempt because my armor is contempt. The sniper is the eliminator unit, and they can use snipers as a primary with only pistol and combat knife. They can also use stealth on themselves and with certain perks others around them. Heavy is the last one, which is also not a tank. That's a ranged Rainmaker, benefiting mostly from keeping far away and using their Iron Halo in order to block ranged shots. But it doesn't come with a melee option, so it's just swinging their big ass gun as a hammer and somehow parrying with it. There's a lot of different things I could talk about with the game, but I know anyone watching this has already decided they're going to get it, but I do recommend getting it. The company has already stated they want to add DLCs, announcing at least 4 of them, each around a different chapter to get cosmetics for. Saber has also mentioned they wanted to add more operations. The cosmetics are honestly the best part of this game. I can play as Deathwatch. Hell, GW should have used this game's release as advertisement for the Deathwatch, because Deathwatch subreddit has boomed because of this game. Horrible timing given what GW did to my boys.
David.
I'm not wrong. I'm 100% right. That alone is more evidence of the left and right hand having no idea what the other is doing. But yeah, I'm enjoying this game. It's worth the cost. The DLC is debatable depending on if you like or want the chapter chosen. So I'm going to go back and level up my sniper and heavy now, so shove off.